Okay, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Greg Lewis. I'm coming at you from our satellite studio in southern Texas, and we have been cleared by Tropical Storm Alfonso. We were in the path of it, but it veered down to Texas. I do wish that all of our followers in Texas are safe and that they're not in the path of the storm. Right now, I'm going to show you a video, and then we'll come back and talk about David Derricott and his presentation today about market breadth.
Hi, my name is Kelly Clement, and I am the president here at MetaStock. You know, one of the biggest questions I get asked is, what is MetaStock, and how can it help me in my trading? Well, if you give me about 3 minutes of your time, I can show you. MetaStock is an award-winning software and data package that has been helping traders for over 40 years. Simply put, MetaStock is a tool for traders like you to analyze the markets. MetaStock works across all asset classes, including stocks, futures, forex, options, crypto, and more. MetaStock is designed to help you take the guesswork out of trading by offering a methodical, systematic approach to some key questions all traders come up against. Questions like, how do I decide which securities to trade when there are literally thousands to choose from? Which strategies should I use, and how do I test that strategy before spending my first trading dollar? When should I enter and exit a trade? How can I effectively manage the securities I'm interested in? What are the best options to trade? And of course, how do I know where prices will go next? At the core of MetaStock are its power tools. The power tools are designed to give professional-grade analysis tools to private traders. You can scan the market with the MetaStock Explorer to filter and sort securities that show buy and sell signals based on your criteria. The MetaStock System Tester lets you test most strategies through a process called backtesting. This allows you to see how your strategy would have performed over time. One of MetaStock's most powerful tools is its charts. MetaStock allows you to navigate through your charts through browser-like tabs, arrange them in ways that you see fit, or group them in layout windows that allow you to quickly access your groups of charts. And then with the MetaStock Forecaster, you can even take advantage of patented technology to view probable future prices. If you're an options trader, well, you're going to love OptionScope. OptionScope puts all the critical information at your fingertips, displaying sortable, customizable, color-coded options data, even including the Greeks. You can then take this data and analyze your options with the built-in strategies with risk-reward graphs. And MetaStock has solutions for traders of all levels and interests. If you're just getting into trading, you'll appreciate the education offered by our many built-in systems. In addition to pointing out buy and sell signals, MetaStock explains how they work in an easy-to-follow commentary window. MetaStock has systems based off of popular strategies, things like MACD, Bollinger Bands, turtle trading, candle patterns, and many more. MetaStock even has the very popular and exclusive Rahul Mohindar oscillator system, or simply known as the RMO. As you become a more experienced trader, MetaStock grows with you. Advanced analysts will enjoy the comprehensive list of trading systems and indicators and the ability to create, build, and test their own systems. And if you're a day trader, you can't do better than Zenith, the real-time news, data, and analysis package powered by LSEG, a world leader in market data. Zenith is a comprehensive and flexible system with an extremely powerful search tool, which includes fundamental and economic data.
Next Monday, we will be having the Traders Summit. To register for that, just go to metastock.com and click on the very large banner right at the top. It's a full-day event. It's free. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be awesome. Also, we would love it if you'd like and subscribe today. That way, you'll be notified when we have live events just like this, of which we generally have 1 or 2 a week. Make sure also to participate. We do enjoy your questions and your comments. Just please make sure to be nice and respectful of others and the speaker. And I think that's about it. We're going to be starting here with Dave in about 15 seconds, so stick around. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. Today's presenter is one Dave Derricott. How are you doing, Dave?
Good. How are
Oh,
you?
all right. Good, good, good. So, Dave Derricott, I don't think it would be hyperbole to say you're among the top 5 ever sales representatives in the 30-year history of MetaStock. I think that's easy to say. I
Yeah,
can say you're the top
I
3.
am.
Dave's been with the company just a couple of months longer than I have, which is coming up, I believe, on 19 years.
Yeah,
And
sure
yeah,
is.
and I should mention that the average tenure of the MetaStock employees is about 13 years. So Dave and I aren't exactly babies, but we're not exactly the top veterans in the company either. Anyway, Dave's been in sales that entire time. He is a fantastic salesperson, mostly because he's just a very genuine, knowledgeable, down-to-earth kind of guy. I know Dave's done a ton of presentations like this, and you're going to enjoy it for sure. He's a big dog fan. He has a daughter. He's a good fella. Am I missing anything, Dave?
No, that's it. That's good.
Okay.
That's enough buttering up.
All right. So go ahead. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to participate today. And with that, David, I will let you take it. But do go ahead and make sure to do the disclosure.
Yes, I will.
All right. Good luck. Break a leg.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today at the webinar. I'm going to talk about one of our add-ons that doesn't get talked about very much. It's called Q Global. There's a couple parts to it. I'm not going to be able to show everything today, but I'll be able to show everything for the most part until you get an idea of how it works. But it's really a look at, we're going to talk about broad market analysis and looking at the market as a whole, which is always what questions I get from my customers, current customers, new customers, people that are researching analysis tools and things like that. First, I got to go ahead and read our disclaimer that, and then we'll just keep the lawyers happy and move forward from there. Just went forward to it. Okay, so this demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins and is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock and its employees shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. MetaStock and its employees do not endorse or purchase any security, are not paid for promotion or any security. No information contained in the presentation should be construed as investment advice or a solicitation to buy any security. The last part of this is just the options characteristics, risk of standardized options. Basically the same thing that I just read, just regarding the options that we have to show up there. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is a add-on, and I'm actually going to go to the site first before I show anything. Actually, I need to make sure everybody can see my screen. Okay, perfect. All right, so for those of you that are MetaStock customers, you know that we have a lot of add-ons. I am going to show you one specifically called the Q Global Finder. So this was actually, let's go into that really quick, and then we'll move on to the rest of the presentation. So this is one of our add-ons. I believe we've had this for about 5-6 years. This is a great add-on because it really is great for any type of market. It doesn't matter if you're a stock trader, options, forex, indices, ETFs, futures, commodities, etc. It was created by a person who I've been able to get to know over the last few months. His name is Sagar Nandi. So I wanted to go into him, but basically what this is going to do is one of our technical trading systems. It has more than just the technical charts and things like that, but I'll show you the ins and outs of it and to be able to give you a clear idea of how this can help you with trading. But it is a very unique add-on. Probably none of the add-ons are like this that we have, that we sell, but it's also, I would say that it's overlooked as well because it is a very powerful tool, especially if you're doing broad market, and even if you're not doing that type of analysis, still a great add-on. So switching back to our PowerPoint. So let's talk just a little bit. Sagar Nandi, he has an engineering graduate degree from telecommunications and computer science, and also an MBA. So basically, he created all of this on his own time. and did it with MetaStock because he wasn't able to do it with any other platform. Maybe he was able to get close to it, but nothing compared to what he could do with MetaStock, because there's specific things that you can do in MetaStock that aren't available with other programs. But anyway, so he has traded different markets from India, US, indices. I believe now he actually lives in Thailand, but he was able to quit his job at the age of 46 and trade for a living. But he's actually a real great guy. Sorry, I keep going to the next one. He has spent time with my customers who have purchased this add-on. I know he just barely spent a few hours with one yesterday that we were able to get set up, and this definitely is an add-on that's very unique, very specific, but also I'm going to kind of show you and try and paint a clear picture of how this all works. So first off, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what, actually I need to quickly stop sharing my screen really fast and close down something really quick. All right, we can reshare that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right. Okay. So what is broad market analysis? For those of you that are traders that either trade as an end of day, real-time trader, whatever type of trader you are, broad market analysis is definitely something that we all like to look at, and maybe not as extensive as what I'm going to show you, but you really want to see what the market strength is. And I just took this off in the Investopedia. It measures the strength of the market by looking at a number of stocks that increase or decrease on a given day, or a ratio of upside, volume, and downside. So, and then you use these different indices like the NASDAQ, the Russell, the Dow, the S&P to track the performance of the overall market, which is why you see on the different news stations, well, the S&P did this, the Dow was up X amount of points or down X amount of points. So those four indices or composite indexes like the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Russell, those are used to gauge the strength of the US market. There are similar indices to do the exact same thing with other markets, like the Dow for Germany, like the NSE or the Nifty 50 for India, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So when we talk about broad market, we talk about different sector market rotation strength. And I get this question a lot. Well, how do I know what sector is up, what sector is down? Things like that. I can go into a lot more detail, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. But what MetaStock can do and what this allows you to do is to scan for those indices and sectors that are up or down for the day. Now you could probably go to any website and find that information. However, what's really nice within MetaStock is you have a scanning tool that will tell you and show you the performance for the stocks within a specific sector that are up or down. And so with that, I'm going to go into the MetaStock program real quick. Hang on just a moment here. So when we open up MetaStock and we talk about broad market analysis, we're talking about things like new highs and lows, stocks that made a new high, stocks that made a new low, so on and so forth. And what I did yesterday is I ran a scan over all the different sectors. I've actually got them right here on one of my spreadsheets, but I didn't want to go into too much. But basically what I did is I went in yesterday and created a spreadsheet with all the top indices, or excuse me, the S&P sectors. And then I ran a scan on that, found what sector was up the most, which was the technology sector. I know it's not really, probably didn't have to run the scan to find that out. I knew that was probably what I was going to get, but I wanted to run it anyway. So then I found out, that the technology sector was the sector that was up. So what I did is, let me just type this in really quick. So my technology sector is what I want to open real quick, and then can show you whatever. I just want to make sure I've got the right chart up. Okay, so I can tell this. I ran a scan, so I found out that the technology sector as the sector that's up. I didn't mean to type in all of these, but this is the actual one that I wanted to show you real quick. So I ran the scan, found the sector that was up for the day, which was, as of yesterday, the technology sector. Okay, so then I can go in and do a scan on all of the stocks that are listed on that or in that sector. And I'm showing you this because I want you to see how much in-depth work it takes to find each sector that's up or down, so on and so forth. So these are all my indices that are my sectors off of the S&P 500. So I've got 38 of them, and I ran the scan, found that this one was the top performing for the day. Well, now that I know that, I want to know which one that the IT sector was the one that had the biggest performance yesterday. So now I take all of those stocks, that were and ran a scan off of those, which were 12 of them. And these are the top performing stocks for the day. So once I did that, once I could do that, now I can go in and take it further deep into that analysis and start using the Q system. Well, what's really nice within the Q system, and I'll show you this in just a second or in a little bit, is I wanted to open up Adobe, which I'm going to open that up here in just a minute, and then go through the system. So what Q does is it will identify and find those stocks for you, but then take that to a whole new level of showing you where those potential buy, the sell signals, if you have a pullback, and it bases things not just off of technical analysis, but off of patterns. So what I'm going to show you is, actually I want to do this by template, and we are going to do the entry chart. So there's a couple different templates that the developer Sagar has set up. They each talk about different things, but this is the entire add-on as a whole. What's really nice with this is your entry chart. I'm going to actually open up the Expert Advisor commentary. So I'll right-click Expert Advisor commentary. And this will actually give me a full readout of the system. Hang on just one second. There we go. All right, let me bring that over here. So each of these systems have the expert commentary that he's created. They all tell you the same thing or close to it. But this is Adobe. It was one that I grabbed off of the scan. And this is as of yesterday's data because this is today's data. So I downloaded this. Now, how do I know what all of this means? There are different things in here that are showing your patterns, your squeezing. You've got some volatility indicators that are built in there, as well as support and resistance. So what I did is that when I ran my scan, I found that this was a setup for a entry off of the Q Global system. But what's really nice is the commentary window will actually, even if you're not understanding everything that is on the chart, you can still understand the analysis and the patterns that are triggering and why you should get into the trade. And Sagar's actually set all of this up for you. So you don't have to go through all of that work that I just did, which isn't really too terribly difficult. It's getting the list and running the list and finding the sector that's up for the day was the challenge. And it took me a good 30, 40 minutes. Why would I want to spend that time to do all of that when I can just do it with one tool? And that's where the MetaStock program comes in. And also the Q. MetaStock and Q work great together. And actually I was going to say something else, but I'll leave that. So the reason that Adobe came up is because it has a pattern or a setup for an entry, but you want to make sure once you've gotten that entry signal, that's not an immediate entry into your trade. You need to make sure that your next candle, in this case, because I'm looking at a daily chart. So tomorrow, we need to make sure that I've got a higher high and a higher low on the chart. So let's flip back to MetaStock real quick. So this chart with the this particular candle, and those of you that understand candles, you probably can see this by an indecisive candle if you're not really sure if it's going to be up or down for the next day, but that's why you wait until the following day for the data to load, or if you run an intraday chart, then you could see it as well. But as an example, let me zoom in a little bit more for everybody so you can kind of see this. Sure. So today's high was 533 or currently, and the low is at 524. So we want to make sure that our high is above 533 and the low is above 524 in order for you to get into the trade. Otherwise, you won't. But the other thing too that you look for are these different checks. So you've got your volatility bands when there's a squeeze or an expansion. If you look along the chart, I'm actually going to move these indicators so you can actually know. I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to right click and show the title bar so I can actually expand this out so everybody can see what I mean. But it's a pattern-based system. I don't think it works. Along with technical indicators and it actually also incorporates like the large buying and selling fundamental analysis. So let's actually make this a little bigger, which is easier for you to read. So we've got our high performance Q indicator down here, or excuse me, our relative performance indicator. It's different than a standard RSI indicator. It does look for overbought and oversold. You've got your volatility, excuse me, your band indicators in here right as well, and also your different support and resistance lines. Now this is all the add-on compiled into one. This also has your slow and your fast moving performance. And if you're not really understanding what each line means yet on the chart, you can kind of just hover your mouse over it. It'll tell you if that's the directional or if it's the acceleration or whatever it is. But what this looks for is it looks for pullbacks. It looks for continuation patterns. It is measuring the market as a whole as well. And all of this is done right on one chart. So I can come down here and use the price chart, see where my support and resistance is, where the market direction is, if the strength is strong, weak, or whatnot, based on these different indicators. You see the red indicator is my direction, my blue, and I believe that's my greenish looking indicator, also the direction. So I know the direction of this particular symbol, in this case Adobe, is going up. Now, if you kind of look back a little bit farther down in this area, you've got the plus down here, little signal, or sorry, a yellow circle. Those are your indecision bars. So the market's consolidating, you're not sure, the market isn't sure what it's going to do yet. And that's where Q would keep you out of that particular trade. So let's say that the market was right here, and then I'm going to go into a lot more detail with this. So once I've got my cursor there, now this commentary window will update. I'm going to minimize that a little bit here. So I can scroll down now and see where that would signal a buy-in opportunity. So I have a jump thrust, which is one of the patterns where the market's continuing. The price is extreme low, so it's probably going to be a bounce reversal. Excuse me, an uptrend or reversal off of the current trend. Then into the trend analysis, all signals are aligned and Adobe is downtrading to be in a confirmation downtrend. But you need to have a lower high and a lower low on the chart in order to enter. So what's really good with this particular add-on, like I said, this is different than any add-on that we have. It looks for the trend, acceleration in the market, the pullbacks, and continuation patterns. So you know exactly if you should be getting in and out. And all these indicators have been custom calculated by Sagar, and he definitely will do a very, very good job on helping you understand this. But what I wanted to show today is just how deep the analysis can go. So now, showing you just a quick example on the Q system. What's really good is you really want to find and do some analysis with that particular system, so you know what sectors are up, which ones are down for the day, so on and so forth. Well, how do we find that? How do I take all of this chart and put it into one? Oh, one last thing I wanted to make. On the actual chart itself, you saw underneath, let me actually move this over here. You saw underneath that you've got the Q bands, and it's got all these different color dots on there. That's identifying the different patterns to match up with the signals on the chart, and will help you know if that is a good trade to get into or not. Because right now you've only got 2 out of the, I think it's a 7 system. Yeah. So you've only got your bands and also your jump thrust that are signaling a entry. So it's more of an indecisive candle at this point in time. But you can see that your performance is heading up, your direction is heading up. So it's a good indication that the market is going to continue in that direction. So it's really helping you identify those levels. Now he's got different, he's got other templates as well. But what I wanted to show is his other layouts that he's got, because everybody could you could probably kind of figure out where the market direction is going, where the volatility is, and things like that. This is your entry chart, but he's got other templates that he's already done all the work for you to set up your volatility, your extension, your pivots. You've got support and resistance as well. And this is something that's newer to version 19. If you want to look for the support and resistance of a particular symbol, and in this case, I'm using the IT stocks, Adobe, as the specific example that I'm showing. So we'll go ahead and click no. So I'm going to open up another chart, and this is the support resistance chart. Still has his bands, still has his performance indicators, but we've also got your squeeze measurement indicator down here as well. So it identifies those different signals on the chart based on support and resistance. And if you kind of want to clean it up a little bit, you definitely can. I just wanted to show you all of them. But yeah, he uses different types of patterns. The commentary window is definitely something that you really want to focus on, because that shows you all of the information on the chart if you're just not aware how to understand it. But his stuff is really, really good. He's done a lot of work with it. He's put together a really complete system on the technical side of things, but then also gives you a really clear understanding of the chart and each individual candlestick, which ones are really big entry points, which ones are indecisive, which ones are neutral, and you can kind of see that with the color of the chart. I like this one because it actually has the support and resistance lines, plus within the new version of MetaStock 19, we've got a volume by price indicator, which shows you where the up and down volumes are for the day, which is another part of the broad market templates analysis in here. But what's really nice with this is you can go in now and say, okay, well, I know that this sector is up, but I want to see what what it's doing as a whole, the market itself. So he's created these different layouts for us with this, and you can kind of see how everything looks at a glance, which is just going to be the same type of chart right here. I've already shown that to you, but you can see the US market percent change, our mega cap, or our US total view. So if we go into the US total view, what it does is it opens up a separate layout for us, and that is new to MetaStock 19. So in here now, instead of me just seeing, okay, well, here's the signals based off the Q global, I talked a lot about the market breadth and analyzing those kinds of things. Now what I can use are the main moving average indicators. You've got your 50, 200, and 300. And it shows you the performance of those. But what you're also going to be able to see now is the market total view. You can see what your advancing is how many advancing issues of stocks are up or down for the day. An easier way to view that is by using also new highs, new lows, things like that. But what's nice is Sagar's done all of this work for you. He's calculated these on the backside, put in the performance of the overall market. Then you can see the growth versus the value, the small versus the large cap. And he's got those indicators down here at the bottom. Now, if you want to see the title of the different windows, I can just show those to you. It might not make too much sense, but at least you can see what it's doing. So this is analyzing and measuring all the market breadth of the US stock market. So here it's got what he calls QMB for Q market breadth, up down volume oscillator. This isn't your normal advanced decline line. It's completely different. He's done a lot of programming as far as getting those, but these are all set up for you. So I know exactly where the market is. Everyone always asks me, well, where is the market direction? Where is it heading? Well, if we're looking at this and you identify which ones are positive, which ones are negative, and then you can see the ratio between the two. So we've got values that are up 60 on the downside. We got values that are, on the advanced, repeat that. The advancing decline, we've got 89 as a ratio. On the advancing, or the up and down volume, we've got up 83 for the day. Now I could go into MetaStock and find this information, but it's nice to see this all in one chart. I can grab the symbols and I can put these on the chart. And the way that he's calculating things is completely different than just your standard advanced decline lines, new highs and lows, up and down volume. So it's really nice to see the market total view on a broad market analysis, which is something that's really powerful with this. So we can tell over the next 3 months our new highs and lows, their total overall view of the market itself. And he talks a lot about these different symbols in the manuals. It would take quite a bit more time to show everything, but I like this template a lot because I can see a total overview of the market versus me going in and scanning, finding what sector was up, what sector was down for the day, deciding where I should put my money in what sector, and then at that point using the Q system to identify my trades based on that. I'm gonna go ahead and just close this one. And then there's one other one that I want to show, and I'm gonna get into the scanning part to find what stocks I want. And like I said, yesterday I went through some legwork and already grabbed all of the sectors, ran the scan, found out which one was up for the day, and then took my analysis using the Q global system to basically another level, so you understand where the market is, what sector's up, where you should put your money in, and what stock. So in this case, using the Q global and the broad market analysis, I would put my money in Adobe. Now I can use whichever one of these templates that I want, but the one I like the most, the two that I like the most, I'd probably say there's three. I like the support and resistance one because I can see where those levels are based on that. I know right now with the Q and the color template that I'm in sort of an indecisive candlestick, but I am in an actual setup for my entry. I just have to wait till tomorrow's candle. If the high is above today's high and the low is also, then that would be my entry, my clear entry into my trade. Let me go back and do one more thing. I'm gonna right click expert advisor commentary. And I want to go back to the pink bar. Yeah, I think it actually just goes through the different, okay. So all these are different pivots and price channels, and that's where you can see that it's inside the price channel right here. These gray lines are your price channels, and it's inside, so you're looking for your breakout either above or below those. In this case, you had a break above, but let's say we had this signal, which was on the 12th, so just a few days ago. We already had a indecisive neutral area looking for a pop up, which happened the very next, actually took a couple candles, it went right back up, which it called perfectly for that particular trade because of your indecisive candle, and then it popped above, which it did a gap up and gave you a new high to identify a signal on the chart. Now this is the support resistance template, so I'd want to change it to the Q entry. And you could set all these up where I'm actually doing it the hard way. And in MetaStock, you can actually come over here and use this drop down arrow and pull up what you've opened before. I don't have to do it right now because I already got it reopened. But now that I've gotten my yellow bars down here, I would know, oops, I closed my commentary window. So let's go ahead and open that back up. Okay, so I would know if I was on the first yellow candle, I could use my Q entry chart to actually see which ones that have given me a signal. So I've got some extreme low patterns, which meaning that it's in the process of giving a uptrend signal, buy signal, excuse me, entry. Then also if I was doing a short sell, then I'd need to make sure that the low and the high were lower than the previous candle. And then right here, this is the part that I really like the most because it's a really analysis toolbox as a whole. So you can come in here and it'll tell you, okay, the price has gone down, your activity is above average, you're between the upper and lower boundary lines, which are these two lines right here. And then it goes down into the performance is headed down, which is your yellow indicator down here. Your headwind, which is your reversal signal, doesn't have any indication of reversing right now, but your thrust is approaching a extreme low area. So it's really nice because you can really see these different patterns form on your chart and identify when you should get in and out. This, like I said, these calculations and what Sagar has done is very unique compared to any other market. And the price indicator right here, excuse me, I keep saying that, the relative performance indicator really identifies those dips in the market patterns right here as an example. I'll just use my little trend line. Right here would be you've got a nice little dip pattern, which would identify a bounce reversal, so bounce up or down. Down here, you get these little, what they call like peaks, and then your troughs, not to be confused with Elliott waves or anything like that. It's different than any other technical analysis indicator, but this would be a really good area for you to pay attention to get into the trade, because on this particular candle, let's just call it this, you've got your pattern forming right here for your dip. You've got your continuation, your headwind is continuing, and your flow is also identifying an entry signal. So I found this by running a scan on the chart using the Q Global. One other part I like a lot as well, before I get too much into it, is I like to always show the major indexes other than the total view. You've got all these other ones in here. You can look at like the US composite indexes, the major indexes, the market change, so on and so forth. But what I want to open up real quick is the major indexes. Sometimes because of how complex the calculations are, I do get a little, sometimes I do, sorry, my MetaStock crashes just because I don't have, sorry, when I'm presenting, because it does take a little bit of calculating, but it does look like it crashed. In the meantime, open it back up, only because it does a lot of these calculations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show it in my PowerPoint, because that's really what I wanted to show. So here's, like I said, the overall breadth market total view based on the Q Global, showing you where the ups and downs are within each individual composite index. So then you've got your market breadth for both the NASDAQ, the NYSE. You can see based on those different indexes where your advancing and declines are. That's these ones right here. And then you've got your up and down volume. So our up and down volume we're really up right now as a market overview on the NASDAQ and the NYSE. So taking out all the noise from all the news stations and what everybody else is saying, this indicator actually will show you a lot more in depth, because you're able to take these calculations that Sagar has done that took a lot of time to identify these. Let me try this. Try opening this again. It doesn't look like it's going to let me open it while presenting. It is actually something that's quite nice. But the good thing is I took a screenshot of it. So here's your market percent change as well. It seems to work fine when I'm not presenting, but when I present and sharing my screen, it does seem to crash it. But and because those calculations are very complex, it's kind of hard to keep up with it while presenting. This was actually just a screenshot I took yesterday. So this was yesterday's performance, overall market change in between, or using the US dollar, NASDAQ, Russell, Dow, S&P, and then your mega cap. And he's color coded them, so it's very easy for you to read. Your mega cap is heading up. Your NASDAQ had a little bit of a downtrend. Your Dow as well. Your S&P 500 was down a little bit. So we're kind of about even right now with that. I'm going to try one more time to open this chart. And then after that, I'm just going leave it. So I've got it as a screen capture. So if I need to, I can just use that. All right, perfect. It does look like I got it to load. So I'll bring this over here. So here's the part that I really like with this add-on is I can analyze the market breadth right here in a few charts. I've got the layout for the Dow, Russell, NASDAQ, and S&P 500. So I can use that, and also my percent market change. So I know where the market direction is. I know only because I did my further analysis yesterday that I know that the IT sector is up for the day, and I want to find what stocks are triggering signals based on the Q with that. But I can see right here and analyze in a very quick view, okay, the Russell's had this many new highs, this many new lows. The up and down volume is up where for the Russell, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and also the S&P. So all of them are leading in the up direction, even though a lot of the professionals out there say, well, we're not really sure where the market direction is going. But that's the difference. Like everything points up. So we are in a positive trend, and you know what side of the market you need to be on. So if you're doing short selling, it's probably not the best idea because you can see by just this market overview where the performance is. Now, I'm going to actually close this out. And this chart alone, I know it might look very simple. I can just go in and plot like advanced decline lines in MetaStock. Not true. There are so many calculations done in the background to identify the real true overview of the market. And that's what's really come into play with Sagar's add-on, because he did all of this on his own. And he's given it to us, and I'll go over the cost, but it's actually a pretty low cost compared to the amount of work that he did with this. I'm going to close this layout because it does take a lot of resources, especially when I'm presenting. So I'm going to go ahead and click close. Don't need to save it. Back to my PowerPoint, I showed this. So kind of going into the Q technical indicators, and then I'm going to hop into one other part that I think is actually really cool. So it looks at the technical charts, the core of the trading decision, and each signal tells you something distinct and very unique. So it shows you like your overbought and sold, your double tops and bottoms, your bands, which are showing your expansion and compression in the market, the exhaustion in the market, and things like that. So it covers all types of analysis, your trend, your range, exhaustion, continuation patterns, and no signal is the same. You're not going to get something like, okay, well, I had these technical indicators cross, so they're an up signal or a down signal, like so on and so forth. This does everything on the chart. So you have one tool that gives you all types of analysis. You can make it a lot more simple if you want, of course, because he's broken it down so easy for us, especially me, because I'm kind of a dummy, to analyze the market how I want to. So let's say I just want to look at my volatility on the market. Well, Sagar's already done all the calculating for you. I just want to look at maybe pivots, or I want to look at my support resistance. The backdrops is going to look at like a larger view of the market, of the chart, to show you where you would be getting in on more of a longer term end of day analysis. He's got your stop indicator and things in there like that. So before I get into this, I've only got a little bit more time. So I want to run an exploration. I'm running an exploration called the Q long setup, which I want to know what stocks are trending up, giving me buy positive patterns and a bullish entry. And then I also want to find, it's called the Q Finder Weekly. So what Sagar's done is he's used part of our real-time software called Zenith. For those of you that have MetaStock real time, you know what I'm talking about. But what this is it's very comparable to to these professional traders that pay about $1,500 a month for. What we've done, or what I should say, what Sagar has done, is he's taken the data from there and made these Excel spreadsheets to show him how to trade using the overall market breadth. So I'm going to show you that real quick, but I'm going to also show you how you can scan to find different opportunities like this. So I'm going to use the Q Finder Weekly. I'm actually not going to do the long setup right now. I'm just going to do one scan on, trying to find which one I want to do. Let's do, we'll do the S&P 1500. Actually, I'm going to use online data. So, and then that way I can do the NASDAQ. That's really what I want to show you. Okay, so let's actually just do this. We'll just run the S&P 400 in this case, or anything else. Okay, so I'll run that. I'm also within his add-on, I'm running an exploration that'll show me the stocks that have high price stocks, so the top performing stocks that are in a higher level. And I'm also using the Q Finder Weekly. Now, the Q Finder Weekly, I'm only going to touch on this because it's probably a whole nother webinar to show you all this. What the Q Finder does is this is where the broad market analysis comes into play. Because what I can do is I can run my scan and I copy that. And then he's got these set up to where all you have to do is just click the little binoculars icon that's just like the Explorer icon. And it'll update this to find what stocks have a gap up, which ones had a breakout, which ones are in a flow. So we're in a positive flow. We've got uptrends from a pullback, high breakouts, and then the headwind, box, and bounce. Actually had to ask him what those mean. I'm going to go over those in just a second. But here's your overall market right here. You can see exactly which ones are up, the overall strength of the market, the continuation, the reversal, and also whether the price levels are bearish or bullish setup, or sorry, the bearish setup and the bullish setup. So you have a very positive number as far as bullish setups. And he also gives a kind of a ratio between the bearish and the bullish setups based on the scan that I ran. Now, this isn't the whole market. This is only the scan that I ran. So the last scan that I did was the S&P 500. So I can see I can sort these by columns. But what's really helpful in this regard is actually copying this. So I've got that now copied. All I have to do now is come over here and click the binoculars. And it might not change anything because I already did this earlier. And it'll actually, excuse me, I have to run this on weekly. Still won't take very long to do that. So let's move this over real quick and we'll use weekly data. I want to get rid of the other exploration. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here. You have to forgive me, this is the first time I've ever done a webinar on this, and it did take quite a bit of I shouldn't say this. It's not a negative thing, but it took a little bit of learning because I don't do a lot of broad market analysis, but now I can see how powerful it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this exploration. Let's go ahead and start this. And I should have used weekly data. That's why it did that. Okay, so now we're running my exploration again, and then we're gonna go in and look at the queue. So as you notice, you don't just have this one tab. You've got different tabs. So you can see which ones are up or down for the week. And I actually can use those, the last results I just ran, and update this. So all I did was copy those and put them in here. So now it shows me which ones have a setup, which ones have extreme highs or lows, the ones that have breakouts. And then he's got everything down here as well, which is why he calls it Q Finder. Let's do that. So you can scroll down and really dive deep into the entire market to find which stocks are up, down, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of put this all together. You can see where this will update for you and show you which stocks are up, which industries go with what stocks, and so on and so forth. And you can just show which ones he's got them color coded as well, which is nice to see which ones are in a headwind, bounce, which ones have touched it, the percent change, the symbol. It just makes things a lot easier. But going back to all this, this is a really nice overview because you can see what industries and stocks are up for the day and what Q is actually telling you or giving you on the chart as well. And each one of these just allows you to sort it by the colors, which ones are grains are obviously up. You've got the ones that are extreme, the neutral, the yellow, and red is obviously either a stop or a short sell. But let me go back to, there we go. Now we've got this. We'll copy those, and then we'll go back over here and update that. Pretty sure it's going to be the same. Yeah, there we go. So this was based on weekly data. So these are the ones that are up and down for the week. Now, if I want to sort these, I can come over here. I just want to see the ones that are bullish or ones that are bearish, and I can just look at those. And that takes me right to that tab, which the ones that are bullish weekly. I also have the bearish weekly ones. So these are the ones that I would want to use to scan for. So I can come over here and grab this list and create a list in MetaStock to find what stocks are triggering a signal. Well, I already know which ones are actually giving me a signal. This one, this particular one, Amcor, it's got a squeeze, it's got a breakout, it's got a good percent change, it's got a setup pattern in both of those. So I don't even have to look at anything else. I already know by coming back over to MetaStock that that symbol is going to give me a entry based on the Q exploration. It's AMKR.O, so we're going to run that one. Oops. And we'll look at our entry signal using the Q Global entry template that we've already got set up there. And you can see right here, using daily data. Could have actually used daily, or you can use weekly. And that's what's actually nice, because he's got this other template called the at a glance. I'll go into it. I'm not going to open it. It's got the Q at a glance that shows both your weekly and daily. Now, let's just try and open it and see if it'll, hopefully it doesn't crash MetaStock, because sometimes when I present, it doesn't play nice, is what I would say. And if it does, I can just open it back up. No biggie. Shit, that's what I thought. Anyway, so you can, if I wasn't sharing, I would be able to open that. And I really honestly don't know why it does crash a little bit. But that part's actually really nice. Now, I do want to make one little note here, is this is only for real time. So for those of you that are current customers and are using our data in real time, Sagar has made these additions that he calls Q Finder, Dives, and Season. And all that does is identify the sectors and shows you which ones are up or down, which ones you've got, which stocks within that sector have buy signal opportunities using the finder, bullish and bearish weekly, and also on the daily side, bullish versus bearish. And he puts all these in the setup, extreme gap, breakout flow, pullback, and headwind box bounce. That's all in the exploration. So I can use the exploration to run that and update this particular sheet to know where the market is heading. I mean, this is taking off of all of those stocks that were on the S&P 500. But if I only ran my list, let's say I only had, actually, let's go back and do that as an example, just real quick here. Let's say I just wanted to run, okay, I had already ran or created a list of stocks that were up or down. This is where it actually will be really helpful. I think it was under my local data, and I think I just did, I'm trying to remember which one it was. My NASDAQ stocks, S&P. There was one that I created, an actual list that I created for just mine. I think that's not it. Oh, sorry. I thought I had this on here, but I guess I did not. You see, I've created all these lists for myself to actually use specifically for the. Okay, here we go. I think that's it. Nope. Those are all my sector. Okay, here we go. All right, so these are my top IT stocks. So I want to know which ones are actually going on a bullish side, bearish, versus what I had before. So the one previously that I showed you on this sheet was just the S&P 500 stocks. So right now, I'm just going to run the Q Finder and I'm going to run that on weekly data. And I'm just using my list, which were about 12. And these are the top performing stocks in the IT industry, using the sector analysis within Sagar's add-on. So we'll just click on Start Exploration. Got that running over here. And then we'll find out which ones are giving me excuse me, if you don't have real time, you can still use this part, because you can identify if it's a setup, if you've got a bounce, a squeeze, if it's touching. And I'll go over these really quick here in just a minute, because these are actually really cool. You can find which ones are gapping up or down, so on and so forth. But what we really want to look for are this extreme column. So I'm going to highlight all these, copy, come back over into my sheet, and we just click the binoculars, and it does everything for me. So I think I ran it already on weekly. Oh, I already did it. Okay, cool. So it's just really nice. If you have your own particular list, you use this Excel sheet to find which ones are up and or down, which ones are giving you a flow, breakouts, which ones have a headwind pattern, a box pattern, and bounce. Those kind of are self-explanatory. So you can tell within your list which ones are up, which ones are down, and the ratio between the two. So that part is all kind of covered in his training. And the one thing that I really want to emphasize is he does a lot of hands-on training, excuse me. So for anybody that buys this, you're getting a complete walkthrough setup with Sagar if you want, or he sends you specific instructions. He's got very clear, cut, dry, understanding what you need to do to install everything. It is a little bit of an install, I'm not going to lie, but the nice thing is you're not on your own. We're here to help you. Sagar is definitely be able to help you either by Zoom call or on the phone, however you want to do it. But that part is very, very powerful. I want to make sure I actually ran that on weekly data, because I thought that I did. Yeah, I did. I think I might have already ran it. I'm just sorry, no, I'm doing this, but yeah. All right. Anyway, I'd already ran it. So let's try that one, I guess. So I can see. There we go. Yeah. So anyway, you get the idea how all that works. I mean, we can actually change this back to an S&P 500 stock, because now I kind of dialed it up there. Anyway, let me bring MetaStock back over. Okay. So let's go back into my Power Console, and I'm going to run an exploration. I'm going to use the S&P 500 instead of mine, and we're going to use the Q Finder again weekly. And I believe you can do it daily as well. See, and what's nice with this is if you actually can scan for each of these individual indicators that are on the chart. You don't have to scan for everything at once. But what's nice with the finders, or even the setup, it actually shows you each one in the column. I was trying to see if he had one for just daily, because I think it's just weekly that he runs the yeah.
So I do see a comment from Sagar himself. I don't want to make you nervous, but he's apparently listening in. He says you can Q Global and Finder can run on daily charts too.
Okay, good. Well, that's good to know.
Then he goes on to say something about Q dies. I'm sorry, I've cut it off. I can't see.
Yeah. So, actually, that's a really good point. Sagar kind of corrected me with that. So the Q Global Finder can actually run on daily charts too. You don't have to have the real time, but the dives. Let me look into what he actually said. This is actually good. He had told me that he was going to hop in case I made any mistakes. So I'm glad that he did.
I think you're doing great, Dave.
Oh, all right. Anyway, so the Global and the Finder actually run on daily charts too, so you don't have to have real time. From what I was showing, or what he had talked about, but it takes into the sector industry rotation, the fundamental analysis, the seasonality analysis, and the index analysis. But those require Zenith, and the Q Global Finder, you don't need Zenith. You can do those also on the daily chart. So when I'm running the scan finder, you don't need Zenith. I'm just taking those results and putting them into his Excel calculations to just give me a little easier view. But you don't have to have Zenith and Excel setup in order to get those signals, because I already can see those within the reports. I just like to show that part because I think it's really neat that he's done all of this for you. Anyway, yeah, anyway, long story short, you can actually use this for just daily data for data link customers and also real time. So you kind of get that idea. I'm running out of time, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to head back to my PowerPoint real quick and we'll finish up. But here's just another screenshot. So here's what I wanted to show. This is actually the setup, the long setup. Shows you the percent change. Let me actually go back into this so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Just a minute here. So report view all. You can see that's really what I've been focusing on. Hue long setup. That is what I wanted to show. Okay, so here you've got your percent change setup and breakout. So in my PowerPoint, kind of wanted to show you how you can read that. So the setup is meaning that all of your conditions are met. Those are the stocks or symbols in the reports that you'll want to really focus on. But then it breaks it all down into one view. Sorry, I didn't know what happened there. So in this particular example, we've got which ones have had a setup. And the reason why there's a 1 on there is how long ago it was. It was just the very last bar. You could sort of based on breakout, flow, pullback. And I had to ask Sagar what these mean. So you've got your setup, which is all the conditions are met. And I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, so then you've got your breakout, which is either above or below his support and resistance. Your flow is actually a setup for the trend following that catches a swing low in an uptrend or a swing in the downtrend. So it's looking for those up and down trends in the market and the acceleration in the market. Pullback is obviously your dips when it falls below or goes above. And that's the part that I liked a lot with his chart. Let me go over to Adobe again, because that's the one that I like to show for today. As you can see within this chart, his dips and his heights, just based on the relative performance indicator. So here you've got your dip right here. There you've got like a hike right here. And then it just follows it along. It is, like I said, it's very unique to anything I've ever seen and we've ever had. So, and then these are just color coded based on the actual trend and colors on the trend itself. So let's go back to my PowerPoint. So I'm also looking at the headwind, which is a setup for the market. The market is looking at a reversing at either the top or the bottom. So if I base it just on the headwind, if I had any, this one didn't actually give me any results on that, but there would be a 1 in here. Same thing with the box, and that is identifying a setup for the sideways market or a double top or bottom. Your bounce is looking at support and resistance, and then gap is pretty self-explanatory when you've got to jump up or down in the market. But that's how you would read it for a setup. But we really want to see which ones have a setup. So IBM's got a setup right now, HP, Wells Fargo. So those would be ones to inspect a little further using the Q Global. Don't have a ton of time left, but that's really the program in a nutshell, with a broad market analysis, identifying those top sector and industries, finding what our total view of the market is doing. When I go back to my PowerPoint, like I'll just go back here real quick because I like to show this. And there's not another add-on that has this that we sell. I'm sure you can do it on your own by doing all the calculations yourself. My comment is there's no way in heck I'd be able to do it myself. So, but I want to see where the market is. I want to know the direction, and that way I can run a scan on the S&P to find what stocks are up and down in my particular list, or use one of the main indices like the NASDAQ and the S&P, so on and so forth. Same thing with this, that he's already done all this for you. You don't have to do anything else. You can go in each symbol individually and identify the overall performance and market percent change. Sure, you probably can. How much time is it going to take you to do that on a daily basis? He's done it all for you. And then you can see the high volumes, the down volumes, which stocks have a new high or low, which ones are up, comparing those to your main moving average indices as well. But yeah, so Sagar actually just made a point, just a second comment, that he's basically saying it's not so much a comment, the BHC is breakout setup today. So it's the that's coin. Anyway, the symbol is BHC. Had a breakout today, what he bought from the weekly daily at a glance. So he used the weekly daily using the BHC symbol. Let me actually run over there really quick. And then I'm gonna finish up. Let's say BHC. I think I've got something open. But yeah, so I mean, I asked him to actually join in the webinar because it's a little bit involved, his add-on, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't messing up anything. So there we go. Anyway, so that last part that Sagar was talking about is applying your template, and you're looking at, actually, sorry, it's a layout. You're looking at the weekly and daily at a glance right here. He bought with using this, and I hope it'll actually load. Like I said, it's hard when I'm presenting. It doesn't always load all the time. But it looks like this one did. And this is his Q system all together, putting everything together as a whole, make it a lot easier for everyone to see. You've got your backdrop, which is your entry signal plus the actual entry part of the chart as well. And then with his particular system, he had a breakout on the BHC symbol, which he said he bought today, so based on his method and methodologies. Now let me go back to, I thought I had that one. There we go. So he uses a lot of the analysis with the Q weekly and daily. So the one on the right is the daily, left is the weekly, but that helps you identify the direction and acceleration in the market. And yeah, like I said, there's nothing like this that we have as far as the add-on goes. Excuse me. But there is a lot involved. He does do specific checks because the risk is so low because of all of the analysis that he has calculated and done for you. He's done all the legwork. All you have to do is just follow the rules. So makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I already showed you how to do this and understand all of this. So running scans, you find all of these conditions. You can tell whether it's going to be a support jump or breakout based on the system. So, but anyway, the other thing too is he's already told me this. For anybody to get set up, he'll definitely take care of you. Gives you clear installation instructions, and if you need to, he'll spend some time explaining the system in a lot more detail since he created it. I'm just here showing how his system works. But so what you get is you got 15 experts that are specific to US. You can use it with any market. I just gave some examples here. US, India, UK, Europe, Asia. It doesn't matter where you're trading, what you're trading. You can trade everything. 35 scans, and as you kind of saw in the list of scans that you've got set up, they're there because there's definitely some moving parts to the system. So you kind of want to understand if you just want to look for breakouts, if you want to look for bounces or a headwind or flow, continuation patterns. Maybe you just want to look for that part of it. And that's why he's got those specific scans instead of everything included all in one scan. You can do that, or you can break it out too. I showed you the layouts by total market overview, the main indices, the performance of the US market, the percentage change based on your top indices and broad market analysis, looking at those new highs and lows and things like that. Okay. And so what, I kind of already went over this. But he has extra Excel spreadsheets that he has set up in order to identify your trade analysis, your indexes, your stocks and fundamental analysis, which uses another Excel part. That would be a whole nother webinar, but it really takes everything into play, like your fundamentals, your index analysis, your actual technical charting, scanning, industry rotation as well, plus your seasonality too, which he's done all the work for all those. Those do require real time, but the Finder and the global, the Q Global, both can use MetaStock in the day and real time. So, like I said, this is actually what he had sent me, because the Q Finder really does help you visualize the technical broad market or breadth market, market breadth, however you want to what word it is up to you, but it really helps you know the direction of the market, the directional basis, and finding your trade setups that way. The commentary window that my laptop actually lost power. So, let me just make sure that everybody can see it. All right, cool. So, I apologize for that. Anyway, just gonna make sure that you guys can all see and hear me. All right, perfect. So, putting all that together, I wanted to let's just go through that. Okay. So, yeah, so it's a very unique system. I really actually have enjoyed it. Learning about it. So here's a better view. This is kind of what I wanted to show you, that you can decide for more on a longer term technical basis using the weekly technical breadth, and you can see which stocks using the Finder are up and down for the day, or excuse me, up and down for the week. So you know before the market opens up on Monday, whether it's your stocks or what industry is going to be up or down. In this particular case, because I did some analysis yesterday with this, I knew that the IT sector was up, and I took a scan in MetaStock, in Q, and found which ones were the top high price stocks, or sorry, the top performing stocks that I wanted to see, that I wanted to use, excuse me. So just a really good all put together add-on. It's actually pretty amazing, everything that Sagar has done. But so we've already kind of gone through everything. Now, putting it all together, all in one tool program. A lot of people, I get this a lot actually. It's like, well, you know, I'm looking for this indicator. I want to analyze, in this case, maybe the market breadth only, and then find out what stocks are high performing stocks or what stocks are down for the day. You can do all of this on your own, trying to do exactly what he's done with all of his calculations and pattern system. Literally, I can't see you being able to come close to this. So it's just a really good in-depth performance of the overall market and helping you know when you should be getting in and out of the trade. Now, we give you the tools that have been proven with proven success, but what you also get is education with Sagar. He has education videos program that he's already set up. He does also market overviews as well. We've had him on our YouTube channel doing market recaps and things like that. Knowledge is power, so it definitely helps you lead to profits, spending the time to learn how to analyze the broad market analysis tools. I already kind of went over this. I kind of thought it was kind of interesting, do the right tools. Well, if you find yourself searching for a better tool that gives you everything, don't keep looking for the holy grail that doesn't exist, and it really doesn't. But with this, you're really going to be able to get the support from both MetaStock and Sagar, who developed the Q Global add-on, to find the right trades and when to actually get in based on the market direction, which is really what we all want to know. I get that question all the time, not every day, but pretty close to at least 5 times a week or more, depending on how many people I talk to. What's the market doing? Where's the market direction? Where's to put my money? Well, this tells you exactly where. What sectors are up, what sectors are down. If the market really is up, if you want to identify the sector rotation part that I wasn't able to get into that much, I could quickly see the IT sector was up based on his tools that he's created. And I could do that inside the MetaStock program itself. I did not need to use the Excel sheets. I just like the Excel sheet part. I think it's pretty cool. So the cost is a little bit different than anything else we have. If you need MetaStock in real time, I've kind of done both for a model setup. So the Q Global is normally $100 a month, and there's also 2 parts of the toolbox for the broad market calculations. Normally that's about a little over 1,100, but you're only paying $499. You save $900 plus. You get the MetaStock program, you get the help from Sagar, the learning. He's also written manuals to give you a better understanding of that if you want to do it on your own as well. But all that is just $697. Like I said, you normally would pay just $1,100 for the broad market part. So this is actually something that's really cost effective, especially for the amount of work. Now, there are ways to lower that. You can definitely give me a call and I can go over different options. But yeah, so this will work with both real time and end of day. But if you do want real time and you want to use his dives, his seasonality, those are all the Excel spreadsheets, excuse me. This normally, I actually put the same cost, but this would normally be about $1,900, where you're just paying $962. And that is for new customers. This includes the MetaStock program. This also includes training, free tech support from us. If you're already a MetaStock customer, you don't, the price is different. So definitely give me a call and I'll be able to help you get set up with the right tools with what you want to do. But if you really want to get a good analysis of the whole market and identifying those stocks that you should be trading and then where to actually get in based on breakouts and patterns and volatility and acceleration in the market, this is definitely the tool that'll help you. Anyway, I just put that as a joke. Contact me, I'm nice. Anyway, here's my contact information. I really do want to express thanks for everybody that has been watching this in a live session and might watch it during our
Hey,
the
Dave,
recording. Yeah,
before you go, do you have a screen that will show us your contact information?
yeah, I have it
Or
up right now.
No, I can't see that. I see the Q Finder.
Okay. Oh, I think I'm sharing my other screen. Okay, I need to go back then. Hang on. I'm gonna actually go back and redo all that then. Yeah, it's not sharing the right one. I apologize.
I can only see that.
Yeah,
I
you're
can
seeing
still
me
see the
now.
one from before.
Hang on. I had to do this earlier and I forgot to do it again. Okay. Now it should. Yeah. Okay. Now it's showing that. All right. Let me go back.
No, now it's showing well, now it's showing a big blue block.
I know what
Sorry.
it's showing. Yeah. Give me a second.
All right.
Now I just gotta find it. Hang on. To see. Yeah, it's being weird. Give me just a second, Greg.
If you just want to say your information, I just didn't know if you knew you weren't. Oh, there it is. Okay, I can see it now.
Yeah, so it's weird because it won't let me show it on the other screen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let me
We
do
can
that.
see it.
Yeah, now you can because I had to go into anyway, it's all good. Let me hurry and go back. Because nobody saw this part. Anyway, so I wanted to go over again really quick. Here's the cost for the investment of Q Global MetaStock and all of the broad market analysis. You've got a savings of over 900. Cost to use only $697. This includes MetaStock end of day. There are cheaper options, so definitely give me a call and we can talk about what you really want. Then I can go over the details there. If you want real time, same thing. You're getting all of that, plus you're getting the dives of the season, and all of the Excel sheets that Sagar has created, and that's $962. So it is a little bit more expensive on the real time, but always is. Again, there are other options available, but definitely reach out to me. Anyway, so here's my contact. You can contact me by WhatsApp. You can contact me by the phone, by email. Yeah, just definitely give me a ring and I'll help you out, or just send me a quick email and I can answer any questions that you might have. But definitely, like I said, you've got, if you do, or when you sign up, you got support from me, help you get set up on the right tools, and then also our support team, and Sagar is definitely a great help as well. But with that, definitely appreciate everybody's time today. If you have additional questions, don't hesitate to call me. More than happy to help out. With that being said, I'll close out. Greg, are there any questions on YouTube? I don't think there are, right?
I don't see any questions. You had a very attentive audience, but no questions.
Sounds good. Well,
Good
thanks
job.
everybody for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.